My wife of 12 years handed me divorce papers on my birthday. The envelope slid across the table like a blade. The sound it made, soft against the wood, was louder in my chest than in the room. "Happy birthday," she said, and then she laughed. I stared at her. My wife of 12 years. The woman who once wept in my arms at midnight, swearing we would never lie to each other. She leaned back in her chair now, lips curled in satisfaction, eyes bright with something I had never seen before: freedom. "The judge granted me everything you own." Her voice was sweet, almost musical, like she had rehearsed this moment. The walls of the restaurant seemed to press inward, the candlelight flickering on her perfect smile. Behind her, our children, my children, watched, their arms crossed, their faces cold. "Don't bother calling us anymore," my son sneered. "We're legally changing our names." My daughter smirked. "We've moved on." I nodded. Just once. A short, clean gesture. I stood, I left. No words, no protests, no fight. Outside, the air was sharp. Night had fallen heavy, suffocating. But it suited me. The silence wrapped around me like armor. They celebrated that night. Champagne, laughter, photographs in their new mansion. While I sat alone in my car, staring at the city lights, breathing steady. Because I knew something they didn't. And soon, they would know it too. It hadn't started that night. The cracks had been there for years. Quiet. Hidden. I'd felt them in the way she stopped reaching for my hand in bed. In the way the children started speaking to me with rehearsed contempt, words too sharp for their age. A man notices when his family begins to rot from the inside. But I said nothing. I watched, and I waited. The papers she handed me weren't just a betrayal. They were confirmation, a declaration of war. Because I knew she wasn't strong enough to orchestrate this on her own. There was someone else. There had always been someone else. I replayed every conversation in my head, every late night at work, every mysterious smile, every secret text she thought I didn't see. She thought I was blind. But I was listening, cataloging. The divorce wasn't about love lost. It was about gain, power. And the children? They were never meant to be mine, were they? I swallowed that thought like poison. Because once you consider it, once you truly allow it into your bloodstream, it doesn't leave. So I started digging, quietly, carefully. She had taken everything from me, on my birthday no less, but she had forgotten who I was. I am not a man who begs. I am not a man who breaks. I am the man who waits. It began with a toothbrush. Small, pink, nestled in the guest bathroom. Too new to belong, too deliberate to be overlooked. I asked nothing, but I noted it. Then the calls, blocked numbers, late nights, her voice muffled but not enough. A low chuckle on the other end that wasn't mine. I checked the billing records. Patterns appeared. Numbers repeating. I called a lawyer. Not mine, not hers. Someone untouched. "Keep it quiet," I told him. He understood. DNA tests followed. Not requested openly, of course. A hairbrush, a forgotten sock, a strand of hair plucked from a pillow after she left in a rush. My children's toothbrushes, sealed and bagged like evidence in a crime scene. Weeks passed. On the surface, I was calm, mechanical. I went to work, I paid bills, I answered meaningless emails. But inside, every second felt like glass grinding against my ribs. My son's laughter sounded foreign now. My daughter's eyes carried a truth I was beginning to recognize, though I wanted to turn away. At night, I sat in the dark, watching the city hum outside my window, and I asked myself a single question. How long has the lie been living with me? The results arrived on a Tuesday. A manila envelope, ordinary, forgettable. But my hands shook as I held it. I opened it slowly, deliberately. Each word was a nail in a coffin I had been building for 12 years. Neither child was biologically mine. The silence in the room was unbearable. No cries, no screams, just the steady hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen, mocking me with its persistence. I closed the file, and I felt nothing. It was as if every emotion had been siphoned out of me, leaving only clarity. 12 years of lies, 12 years of raising another man's children, 12 years of being the fool. That night, she was waiting at the house, her house now. She was drinking, smiling, dressed too well for someone recently divorced. I handed her the report. No words, just paper. She read. Her smile faltered. Her glass trembled. "What is this?" she whispered. "You know what it is." Her face drained of color. Her body shook. She tried to speak, but the words choked her. I sat across from her, calm, silent, watching her crumble. For the first time in 12 years, she had no script. They were celebrating in the mansion the following weekend. Her lover was there. The man she had built this entire charade with. The man whose blood ran in the veins of the children who despised me. I arrived late. Not inside, not at their table, but through my lawyer. An envelope, delivered in silence. It carried more weight than any spoken word could. The results. The proof, the financial documents I had uncovered, the quiet transfer of assets she thought hidden, the secret she thought buried for over a decade. Her kingdom wasn't hers. The house wasn't hers. The money wasn't hers. The lawyer left without a word. Hours later, my phone rang. My daughter's voice, hysterical, broken. "How could you hide this from us? After 10 years, how could you let us hate you?" Her sobs bled through the receiver. I waited. Let her scream. Let her drown in her own confusion. When she finally fell silent, I spoke. "You chose your side. Now live with it." And I hung up. The line went dead, and so did every piece of me that had once cared. I sat alone that night, in the same apartment where it had all begun. No photographs on the walls, no reminders of a family that never truly belonged to me. For 12 years, I had lived a lie. For 12 years, I had fed it, clothed it, nurtured it. And in the end, it devoured me. But the truth devoured them. I did not rage, I did not mourn. I simply breathed. She had taken everything from me, and yet, ironically, I had lost nothing. Because none of it was ever mine to begin with. The mansion, the laughter, the children with another man's eyes, they belonged to her illusion, now shattered. And I belonged to no one. Freedom, I realized, doesn't come in joy. It comes in silence. I poured myself a glass of water, sat by the window, watched the city lights flicker. For the first time in years, I felt weightless. And my final thought, before the night consumed me, was as cold and clean as a blade. They wanted a life without me. Now they will choke on it.